Now, top focus on WION as protests in Iran enter a third day over the death of a 22-year-old woman who was detained by the police for not wearing the hijab properly. The head of Iran's morality police has now been suspended from his post. According to reports, Colonel Ahmed Mirzai, who is the head of the Moral Security Police of Greater Tehran, has been asked to leave. A CT scan of Amini's head revealed that there was a bone fracture and a hemorrhage, confirming that she had died due to being struck on the head. Meanwhile, denying all allegations, the Iranian Interior Minister has said that there were no reports of Mahsa Amini being beaten and that the reason behind her death was a heart condition. However, Amini's father has denied all these allegations, saying that her daughter had no medical history of a heart failure, further accusing the police of a cover-up. Since last year, Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi has tightened enforcement on the headscarf law. He spoke to Amini's family on the phone, where he said, and I'm quoting here, "Your daughter and all Iranian girls are like my own children, and my feeling about this incident is like losing one of my own dear ones. Please accept my condolences." End of quote. Now, Raisi, who is traveling to New York to address the General Assembly, he is hopeful that the protests will die down by the time he comes back. But the situation on the ground is only turning violent. A total of 5 people have been killed in Iran's Kurdish region on Monday when security forces opened fire at the protesters. However, there is no confirmation on the number of deaths. According to official state news agency, there were limited protests in a number of cities in 7 provinces that were dispersed by the police. Now, to understand the situation better, we are being joined by Dr. Meher Javed Anfar, who is a West Asia analyst based in Tel Aviv. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now, we are getting reports suggesting that the morality police chief has been suspended, but this is not the first time Iran's morality police has come under the lens. Do you think this is Tehran getting away by doing the bare minimum?
I'm not even sure he's been dismissed. People, forgive me for being very cynical here. I've been observing, and I've been teaching Iranian politics for 11 years and observing Iranian politics for the last 17 years. These removals are symbolic. They are perhaps almost, you could call it the decorational move. It's very superficial. The core problem remains that this is a regime that hounds Iranian women because it wants to force them to wear the hijab, because it says this is a moral issue, that the hijab keeps, protects women. It's important for levels of maintaining levels of morality in an Islamic society. Yet at the same time, the very same regime has been involved in the theft of billions of dollars of money inside Iran. Increasing number of Iranians can't pay rent. Some of them can't even afford the same amount of food that they could buy. Yet the regime is focusing on whether women are wearing their hijab properly or not, and in some cases abusing them, in this case killing one of them. So this is the main issue here. This is the problem, and this is why we're seeing them, one of the reasons why we're seeing demonstrations in Iran.
Absolutely. Now, for a clear understanding for our viewers, can you tell us exactly what the hijab law in Iran is and what are the repercussions for the women who flout it?
Look, the hijab is, women have to wear the hijab, and there's a dress that covers most of their bodies. They wear trousers and they wear a top, and they will have to wear the hijab, and the hijab has to cover their hair. Now, some women, they wear it, they have to, it's compulsory, leaving the house, it's compulsory, and it's against the law not to wear it. So some women who protest, they wear it, they put, instead of putting the front of the hijab here on their head, covering completely their hair, some of them put it here in the middle just to say, okay, I'm abiding by the law, but I'm doing the bare minimum because I don't agree with it. And in some cases, they're stopped. and they, in some cases, they are taken away and beaten, or they receive verbal abuse from the people who run these patrols, these morality patrols. And unfortunately, you know, because in Iran the regime has become so unpopular, especially these morality police, that the people who are recruited in the role of enforcing these morality laws for women are people who have very little education. They're very brutal. Some of them are even sadistic in the way they treat some of these women. But the regime doesn't want to change the laws because the regime sees rights for Iranian women as an existential threat. The Iranian regime, which it proclaims to be Islamic, although there's great doubt that it really is Islamic, nevertheless, the Iranian regime sees women's rights as something Western, as something foreign. It believes that women should be told what to do, how to dress, how to live. And if anyone else tells women that they have other rights or are feminists, these are Western conspiracy theories. And the regime sees this as a very important threat, even an existential threat, because it believes that once Iranian women have more rights, then that could open the door for people of Iran wanting other rights, such as democracy, freedom of speech. And this is why the Iranian regime acts so brutally to put down women's rights and the issue of hijab.
Now, you know, protests have broken out across Iran. We are getting very powerful visuals of women stripping their hijabs and even cutting their hair. Do you expect any change in Iran's hijab rule after this?
No, I don't. I'm sorry again for being cynical, but this is what researching and teaching about Iran has taught me. As I mentioned, this is something that the Iranian regime views as an existential threat. This is a win or lose. There's no Iranian regime doesn't want a win-win situation, doesn't want to reach a compromise with its own people. I would be extremely surprised if the Iranian regime reached a compromise with the people of Iran on this issue. What's important to explain to your viewers is that in 1979, prior to the Iranian revolution, women were donning the hijab in solidarity with the revolutionaries because the Islamists, who were an important part of the 79 revolution, promised rights for women. Ayatollah Khomeini, the founder of the revolution, even said that there could be an even president. But after coming to power, we saw that they did not deliver those rights, and the opposite, actually. They oppressed women. So whereas before 79, the hijab was a symbol of solidarity with a movement that preached freedom and women's rights, today taking down the hijab and in some cases tearing it up is a move in solidarity with the people of Iran who want what they wanted in 79, which is dignity, which is respect for human rights and respect for women's rights.
Right. Thanks for all your insights. That was Dr. Meher Javedan, an analyst from Tel Aviv. Always a pleasure speaking to you, sir.